It comes about when the virus that actually causes chickenpox is reactivated. That's the varicella zoster virus. Now, most of us will have had chickenpox as kids, but what tends to happen is this virus, it's a sneaky wee one, in that it goes to sleep. It lies dormant in some of your nerves, and it might never reactivate and waken, but there are certain things that increase the likelihood of that being triggered. So that is, the older we get, the more likely we are to develop shingles, which is why the vaccines are offered to older adults. Factors such as stress, if you're feeling poorly, if your immune system's run down, if you're on drugs that suppress the immune system, so things like steroids or chemotherapy. In that case, that virus becomes awakened again, and it travels along the nerves that supply a particular part of the skin. And that's where you'll get this painful, blistering rash.
So what are the main symptoms, though? Because it's not always the rash straight away.
It's not the rash straight away, no. So you can just have a few days of feeling a bit run down and a bit fluey. Some people can get a dull headache, often pain. So before the rash even appears, people will say, oh, it's a horrible type of pain that they're experiencing in the skin. It can feel burning, it can have a tingling sensation, it can even be a bit of an itch. And then you get the rash, the classic rash that appears. Now, you can get this anywhere on the body. Typical areas are the chest, the back, and you tend to get these little spots to start off with, which then blister up, and over a few days they can crust over. You can also, in 10 to 20% of people, it can affect the eye area, but it will look different in different skin tones. Most people will recover over between 2 to 4 weeks. It usually takes for symptoms to settle down. However, the issue is that in some folk, it can actually leave long-term pain and tingling or nerve sensations in the area of the rash.
Is there a vaccine for this, Ben?
Yeah, there is a vaccine, and unfortunately data would tell us that only the uptake is about 10 to 20%. So actually lots of people that are eligible for the vaccine are not coming forward. It's offered free on the NHS to anyone that is between the ages of 65 to 80, or if you're over the age of 50 and have a severely weakened immune system. Now, I would really urge people, because the purpose of the vaccine is that it reduces your risk of actually getting shingles, but also if you do get shingles, it limits the severity of the symptoms that you would get. And anyone that's ever had shingles before will tell you it is an absolutely horrible condition to have.
Yeah,
so
no,
yeah.
I've had it as well. It's awful. Yeah, it's really not nice. What is the treatment then?
Yeah, so the first thing to say is treatment. If we can catch it within the first 72 hours, that's when we can prescribe antivirals. And a lot of people don't know that, so they might just sit on it for a few days and then seek the help. So act fast, get the antivirals, and the purpose of them is, again, to reduce the severity of those symptoms and hopefully limit the chances of those long-term complications developing. You don't need to see the GP for it. A lot of people don't know that pharmacists can also prescribe these antivirals. And alongside that, rest is key. You really want to support the immune system during this time. Fluids and paracetamol can help as well.
Helpful. Are there anything we can do at home for this?
Yes. So
home remedies?
Yeah, we love home remedies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've always got them.
I love them. And I think that there is a lot that we can do to help ourselves. And I think when people get a rash, the first thing you want to do is, what can I put on it? Yeah. And you can end up actually slapping a whole load of things that will make it worse. So the first thing to say is keep the area clean. You don't need to put anything extra on top of it. Loose clothes. Make sure that the clothes that you're wearing, the fibres on the clothing, isn't too rough. Cold compresses are fantastic just to help reduce that inflammation and to calm the area down. You get very itchy with this rash, so oat baths, we talk about oat baths a lot, are very helpful, or even just a quarter spoon of baking soda into the bath can actually help.
Soda?
Yeah, it just can really help with the itching sensation that you can get with that. I think the tendency is people want to try things like vinegar. Please do not put vinegar. There's no support.
It's one of those. Kim. Is that something
that
you fancy doing?
It wasn't the first thing that came to my mind.
To slap on some vinegar on the face. Do not do that. There's no evidence to suggest that that helps. But if you are itchy, then antihistamines are fantastic. Do take them. You do not want to scratch that rash. Introducing infection into that will be, terrible. You'll need antibiotics.
So this,
if that gets
to be clear,
septic.
these are the list of absolute don'ts.
These are don'ts. Yeah.
Yes.
So we've
don't
got
let
don'ts
anything
there.
stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just take it. And if you're worried about it at all, always just run it by either the pharmacist or your GP, and we can tell you what you're doing, right or wrong.